system of inter-system, once you indicate protection in the number of countries that you want recognition of your trademark, you get automatic recognition in those countries. Otherwise, if you are not in that system, a country is not in that system, then you need to protect in each of those countries, because intellectual property by nature is territorial. You get protection where you seek to have your brand or your mark or your intellectual property protected in those countries. So these are the two systems. You can seek individually in those countries, or you can seek to go through under those other arrangements and systems to get protection at a global level. So it's always very important for applicants to know, number one, you need to protect in the country, which is Nigeria, and you need to seek protection in the other countries where you want your brand protected. Otherwise, once you are protected in Nigeria, you are only protected in the territory of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So one of our panelists is here, the director for WIPO, Mr. Oluwatoluboba. I hope I pronounced it well. Modi, yes, sir. Please, thank you so much. Come and join us.
My name is Shafiu Adamu Yauri, but I believe I'm standing in for Oluwatobi Modi, who is unfortunately not available here. Thank you. Is he? Where is he? Okay.
Okay. So let's just continue. Mr. Shego, I would like to ask you a question. How exactly can small business owners take opportunities that is open for the after? Like, how do we? I've heard about it a lot of times. I know there's something good for us, but we are not so sure how it works and how we can take advantage of it. And I would also mention that we are also going to host a fair in the US next year, in June, July. How do we, like in the most simplest term, how do we take advantage of after? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, my name is Olusegun Oshego.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. You know, where I grew up, name is very, very crucial. The way they call you is the way you must pronounce it. That's fine. I think I want to start on the note of essentially tendering unreserved apology for coming late. Nothing is deliberate. It's a duty call. Just last night, we got a call from the Minister of Finance to be at his office at 9 a.m. because we need to resolve a very critical issue that has to do with our people taking the full advantage of AFCFTA. And the good news is, of course, I can share it, we have a direction now, and the Honorable Minister has graciously ready and committed to go that route. Thank you. If you need to clap, thank you very much. Secondly, is also to bring greetings from my principal, Mr. Olusegun Awolowo, who also sent his warm regard to the entire distinguished panel and, of course, every single present here. Thirdly, I grew up in an environment where appreciation is very crucial. And I'm going to start with my dear Egbon, the CG of Custom. Sir, I've always been saying it in your presence and even in absentia. Your humility is something that some of us are looking at and we are inspired by it. We salute you, sir. We salute you. And of course, my dear brother from NEG, let me put it this way. I'm going to flip it from the point of a question, which I believe you all agree with me when that question comes out. Can anybody here today disagree with this statement I want to make? Africa is an import-dependent continent. Yes or no? That is a chorus yes. That is a call for action. That is telling all of us, if there's any time to turn things around, it is now. And the only instrument we have, the only path to make that happen, it is African Continental Free Trade Area. That is called AFCFTA. Why? It is so easy when you are trying to say you are trading into the economy of Europeans or the North America. What are you looking for? You are looking for that same currency, export earning, to your pocket and then to the country. In my local language, I grew up with my grandfather, so they taught me with proverbs. They say what you are looking for in Sokoto is actually in your Sokoto. If you can trade into Kenya, that same thing you are looking for in London, in any of the European countries, you will get it. That is what AFCFTA, under the wisdom of His Excellency Wamkele Mene, and of course the trade expert across the continent, we said, look, we need to start doing something. With all due respect, I was also part behind the scene of this initiative. We call it Guided Trade Initiative. What does that mean? It is to kickstart trading under the AFCFTA. As I speak with you, 10 Nigerian companies, they are on their way. Some have actually commenced, and some about to commence. And this is why, if you are an SME, this is an advantage for you to take. Within these 10 companies, SMEs within these 10, they are actually 7 in number. Now, women are there. Youth are there. They are already going for their shipment. Now, let me give you this, a practical sense of the opportunity within the AFCFTA. Now, there's what we call multilateral trade. Now, multilateral trade means you are trading outside your shore into the other continent. Now, within the context of multilateral trade, the tariff that will be collected from you is called MFN. Now, the percentage you are going to pay in some countries is 20%, 50%. But what is the advantage of AFCFTA? AFCFTA is saying, no, you are not going to pay that exact 20%. You are going to pay reduced tariff. Now, we did a calculation of one of these businesses that are ready to trade under the AFCFTA with the GTI launch. Now, my background in mathematics comes to 4. I said, if you trade normally within the MFM rate, what do you pay? They said, I pay this. Now, you are going to trade under the AFCFTA. We engage the Secretariat. And of course, within the provision of the agreement, we are able to calculate that reduced tariff. It runs into several millions. It was like, wow. So this is what I'm saving under what? The AFCFTA. Advantage number 2. Advantage number 3. When you look at AFCFTA, it has an adopted 8 protocols. 8 protocols. Now, these 8 protocols, they are embedded with massive opportunity. Is it the trade in goods? Is it the trade in services? Is it the competition? Is it the investment? Is it the intellectual property right? Is it the youth and women protocol? By sheer grace of opportunity and with all sense of humility, I am partly the drafter of some of these protocols. So it was easier for some of us to quickly identify all these opportunities within this protocol. So to every single SMEs that are here or businesses that are here, I call on you, take advantage of AFCFTA. it is easier to trade into any of the economy within the Africa than actually trading into the European economy. In the context of standards, we have had cases of reject from the European economy. But within the context of AFCFTA, we are working on what we call harmonizations of standards. Has it happened? No. Is it a work in progress? Yes. Are we reaching there yet? We are working towards that. So that at the end of the day, once you got a certification from any of the countries within the continent, you are easy to go into the other continent of economy within the AFCFTA. Furthermore, it is also to let us know that if you are an SME here, and then one of the challenges that I used to hear from the SMEs is access to finance. Access to finance. No, I cannot disagree otherwise. But here is the good news. The Nigerian AFCFTA Coordination Office, under the leadership of my principal, we have presented a memo before Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and he has graciously approved this memo. What is it all about? We call it AFCFTA Readiness Fund. I repeat, AFCFTA Readiness Fund. I think we should clap for Mr. President. Now, this fund, it is totally and practically for businesses, whatever is your category, to take advantage of AFCFTA market. Furthermore, advantage. As I speak with you, based on my expertise within the context of international trade, we have designed a model to more or less say, if you have X and Y product within the schedule of tariff concessions that was submitted, where is the market for this product? This market is looking for this product. So that makes it easier for you. So it is just for you to do your business deal on the technical side, on the expertise side, on the coordination mandate that we have. We are already what? Getting close to ramp up this model, finally. It is also for me to let you know, one of the advantages under the AFCFTA, it is to the fact that Article 20 and 21 of Annex 2 of Trade in Goods and Services expressly says each state party must have what we call designated competent authority. And for Nigeria, Nigerian Customs Service, they are our designated competent authority. I may bold to say again, under the leadership of CGC Adeniyi, we have gotten so massive cooperation. They are ready for AFCFTA. Please let's clap for the Nigerian Customs Service. And in the next few days, we are going to be having a workshop, but for the DCA, to actually begin to what? Galvanize, download, and empanel the entirety of how DCA will work with the Nigerian people for the benefit of all of us. I thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, we really don't have so much time, so we will just have to hurry up and so that we can round on. Mr. Toby, what can we do? How do we understand what we need to do to, understand how to manage intellectual properties abroad? Just like, can you explain to us what we need to do as SMEs to manage intellectual abroad? Please, if you could do that in like 30 seconds to 1 minute, because we're already about to round up.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And once again, I apologize for coming in late this morning. Thanks for the question. Just because of, in the interest of time at the outset, that you need to ensure that you have protected your intellectual property territorially. So as it is a territorial right, ensure that you have a protection in your domestic country. Now, based on that, you are then able to manage your portfolio of intellectual property. And this is very important because anything outside your country of jurisdiction, other laws begin to apply. So I think one of the strategies that we've seen at work is that a lot of people tend to identify credible partners that they work with outside the country to help them to, as it were, manage their intellectual property. We've also seen a lot of people making use of firms, and you'll see that in Nigeria, a lot of foreign brands are protected in Nigeria through the help of local lawyers who are enforcing and supporting, providing insights to the owners of such intellectual property outside the country. The final thing I would say around managing your intellectual property abroad is that the responsibility at the end of the day of managing intellectual property, like any form of property rights, falls on the owner itself. And in the context of managing that, it's always great, even in your own domestic setting, to have credible advisors. And so working with like SMEDAN lawyers on the ground is important. And why that is because you can make decisions like licensing. You can decide you want to sell. You might decide that, okay, there's a joint venture opportunity, but seeing it as a business tool that helps to increase your capital that's coming, your revenue that's coming back to you. So I'll pause there just to say that it's important to work with legal advice, and it's important to identify credible partners in the countries that your products are going to.
Thank you. Before I would like to ask you guys one question, just like 30 seconds. But before I get there, I want to ask the counterpart. It is actually in the comment section. Someone's actually said, please help me to ask Mr. Bashir. Like, they actually wrote your name, sir. And he said, well, now that in tax, there's a tax break for people who earn 25 million and below. Is there not something you people can do for us that want to export and are just small businesses that also, is there any break, any export break that you can give to us that we don't have to pay so much in charges? That's what they asked me to ask you.
Simple. Currently, as we have it, for small businesses, for big businesses, for any size of business, exports is 0 rated. You don't pay any duty for exports because of the ongoing conversation to encourage the development of the export business. However, I am aware there are some other charges that you may face: storage, freight, demurrage if it takes long time before it. We are working with other agencies of government, NEPC, NPA, to ensure that we reduce the time it takes to document all these processes and get them onto the ships. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sam. Okay, how can we get money simply from Nexim Bank in a very simple term, just 30 seconds? How like, is there a website we could just go down and apply? That's what I mean.
You can apply directly on our website.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is apply. What most people think, and that is why we developed products that are very specific. Women think that borrowing is not for them. So we developed a product for women. Youth think that borrowing is not for them or Nexim is not for them. So we developed a program for youth. We've noticed that in the export value chain, the active gender and age bracket is the youth and women. So we emphasized by creating a product that is called YF, and it's Women and Youth Export Program. Then again, to emphasize that SMEs can approach Nexim to be funded. We created a product that is called SMEES, that is SMEs Export Scheme. So okay. I want every SME that believes they can export. And Shagun has emphasized that with Africa opening up, that everybody can export. And if you need funding for that, speak to us and we'll guide you on how to do it.
Thank you so much. Can we just have like